Peacock is famous all over the world for its brilliantly colored feathers and the way it displays them. But if you've never seen the full dance, you're in for a treat. We're familiar with this view of the peacock, with its feathers relaxed and trailing out behind it like the train of a fashionista's gown. Likewise, we often see the peacock from the front with its long, beautifully colored tail feathers on full display. Believe it or not, the real show is only visible from behind or beside the bird when he's giving his display. I say his display because only the male is so brightly colored, and as we'll see in just a minute, he's also the one with the mad dance skills. Personally, I don't believe it was the peacock that started the whole twerking thing, but after seeing the full dance, I could probably be convinced. Here side by side are the male and female peafowl. She is called a peahen, by the way. Notice that her feathers are shorter, much more muted, and better suited to camouflage and hiding from predators than to attracting attention. After all, peafowl build their nests and lay their eggs on the ground. When she's incubating eggs on the nest, her goal is to remain unnoticed and hidden so the eggs and later the young birds don't fall victim to predators. Now let's have the male give us a spin and show us his complete ensemble. Feathers are so last year, but he really makes it work. The brown or rufous colored parts that are visible from the backside are actually his wings. During his display, he tucks them underneath his tail feathers, and their color really stands out. Now for the dance. The purpose of the peacock's dance is to attract a mate and prove that he would be a good baby daddy. Watch as he puts those wingtips into motion and shakes it for all that he's worth. When the male and female of a species are dramatically different from another, like in the peafowl, that's called sexual dimorphism, literally having two forms. This trait is found throughout the animal kingdom and is very widespread in birds. In birds, we most often find a drab-colored female with ordinary functional feathers, paired up with brightly colored males with elaborate and oversized feathers that in most cases would hinder its survival. However, the one key to the male passing down its genes, and therefore his feathery attire, to his offspring, is that he must first have offspring. That means finding an interested female who thinks he's such a good specimen of masculinity, health, and strength that she'd like her own kids to share his traits. After all, if he can survive and thrive enough to grow and carry around all those feathers and not get caught by predators, and still have enough energy to dance whenever she's near, then he must be a good catch. Next season, however, he's going to have to prove it all over again, as the peahen is going to choose whichever male catches her fancy each year. Peafowl do not mate for life. In fact, the male, having invested so much of his survival budget on fashion and flashy dance steps, is likely to mate with multiple partners each breeding season. This maximizes the genetic return for the extra resources required for his male display. Lately, there's an additional factor to the natural selection of traits of some species. That factor is unnatural selection. When human beings decide to gather up the flashiest feathered specimens and keep them in protected estates and arrange for their favorites to breed, then the traits that are carried through to the offspring may be different than those required for optimal survival in the wild. Over-exaggeration of human-preferred traits caused by selective breeding can cause future generations to become dependent upon human intervention for their survival. Individuals like this albino peahen, for example, which we found at Port Oasis in Cartagena, Colombia, would have very low survivability in its native habitat. If you enjoyed this, please click like and hit subscribe for more.